And welcome back to Game 3 of Glacial Global versus Dino Club on Black Twitch League here. My name is RareAdam. Alongside me is Wee Wizard, and right off the bat, we see a very big change to the ban phase. I wonder why Yorick is banned.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. He didn't do that good last game, right?
Yeah, he only took down 7 towers and like 11 inhibitors and had Hull Breaker at 19 minutes or something. Not that amazing, but regardless, we're back onto the Rift here, and you can see the bans for Glacial Global this time going to stay the same, but Dino Club going to take that Yorick off the table alongside that Ivern and the Echo, so looking like they're adapting and just saying, we do not want to play against the Yorick again. We do not know what to play into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And these bans do mean that Etoe is available for Glacial Global if they so choose. Has been banned for the last 2 games, but nope, they're going to say, all right, we liked our comp last game. We're just going to start picking it again. First pick Leona once more. And we'll see if Dino Club, do they choose the Solution Nami bot lane again? No.
Ooh.
They're opting for Morgana
Okay,
Caitlyn.
we're going through the old school bully bot lane. You know, you root them up with the Dark Binding, you put it right on top of a cupcake trap, and you shoot him in the face. That's what Caitlyn wants to do, and looks like they're just going to go for that, and especially considering the Tristana from last game gives you a lot of ways to stay alive. So I like to see the adaptation coming through from Dino Club saying, Lucian Nami was good, but let's switch it up for Game 3. Ooh, this is an interesting
pickup. Absolutely.
Pickup,
and Jin Leona, what an interesting bot lane.
Yeah, you got the Jin coming through, and Jin Leona kind of works pretty similar to Caitlyn Morgana, and where you go, you use the Deadly Flourish to follow up on what Leona can offer. So very interesting to see these two bot lanes a little bit more long range as opposed to the hyper carry that we normally see down there. So interesting to see, but unfortunately for the side of Glacial Global, Boaf says, hey, the Ornn didn't work out perfectly. I'm just going to pick my one trick, and picks up that Maokai going up into the top side. But Wonderbrat picking up that Nocturne this time around, saying we don't care about the Jarvan this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm kind of curious because I haven't actually seen Boaf play Maokai, I believe. I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen it thus far, so I'm a little bit excited to see how he goes in the top lane. I like Maokai in the top lane. I think he's been a little bit underused, I would say. I mean, he's definitely been out of the meta for quite a while. He did see some play as a support for a while before his AP ratios got nerfed. But in the top lane, definitely, I would say, not a meta pick. But I think he definitely has a place in the meta. He can be very strong, and I'm curious to see where that goes.
Yeah, we'll have to see what works out. But oh my goodness, Delightful Jew saying, you know, you left one of my picks up and available this time around. That's the Kha'Zix locked in. So we're going to get the bug, looking to see if change is good, and trying to take down some of these squishier members. So Delightful Jew seems to be getting every champion that he so desires. But the Varus last game, it was pretty good. They did get spoon-fed a couple of kills, unfortunately. One from the DC and one from just getting camped to crap. But here, it's going to be run back here by Lost and Echoes. And what did you think of that AP Varus last game?
You know, I think it's weird to blind pick it. There has to be a pick for Dino Club that just absolutely shuts it down. Now that they know what the gimmick is, right? They know it's going to be an AP Varus mid. I need to see a counter pick from Dino Club to just shut it down from the get-go. Maybe an assassin. I don't know. I actually don't know what counters AP Varus mid, but I'm sure just most assassins would just blow him out of the water.
Yeah, and this is the main thing when you look at some off-meta champions. You don't necessarily have something that can answer them, but one thing that they do know is that if they're going to pick an AP mid laner like that, assuming it's AP Varus once again, they might as well pick their own AP ADC here as Corki gets locked in for that mid lane. And Corki has started to rise a little bit more in priority recently. Not as much seen in pro play, but overall, it's still not a bad champion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Corki definitely has potential to run over any game that he's in if he gets the slightest of leads. From the side of Glacial, I do like this Scion pick. I'm a huge Scion fan myself. I think he's one of the most enjoyable tanks in the game just because of his health scaling and his W shield, Q damage. He has so much utility, as well as pure survivability. Overall, taking a look at these team comps, I think Glacial Global is definitely a pick slash poke slash burst team comp, right? From this Nocturne to the Varus to the Jin, they really are looking to have short and sweet fights, killing an isolated target or poking from a distance with Varus. It's really going to come down to if Boris gets the lead he needs to actually deal this damage, and whether Nocturne can find these targets to ult and get the picks necessary to get the numbers advantage. Otherwise, looking at Dino Club, they really have the better 5v5 team fight comp just because you have the sustained damage from Caitlyn, you have the Morgana and Black Shield, plus the CC, you have Maokai in the front line, and then Corgi obviously in the back line, dealing his AP damage. So Glacial Global are definitely have an interesting fight for themselves, I believe, in this final third game. And I think it's going to be tricky for them to do what they need to do with their comp. So just going into it, I think the cards lie in Dino Club's favor.
Yeah, albeit last game we did say Dino Club was a little bit more favored because we had a couple more known variables, but then the York just popped off, so who knows? Maybe we are just full caster cursing them. I want to take a look at this jungle here. Nocturne versus Kha'Zix. Two very similar champions in their design, but very different in how they're played. Who are you giving the advantage to, at least in the early game? Because that's really what I want to take a look at here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the early game is the critical stage for Glacial Global. And whether they get a lead I think around level 6 when Nocturne gets his ultimate, that's going to be the critical moment. Can Glacial get a lead? And if they. What?
Oh.
Why was Vex picked?
What? Maybe. Oh. What?
What? He doesn't own. Okay, he doesn't own.
What?
Fantastic.
Okay. Apparently he doesn't own Jin on that account. Wait, Wizard, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to a quick break while we wait, because
Yeah,
that
we'll be
that
right back.
interesting. Yeah, we'll be right back after that. We'll talk more about Jin after, but don't go anywhere. You're watching Game 3 of Glacial Globals versus Dino Club. And welcome back, everyone, to Black Twitch League Week 5. My name is RareAdam. Alongside me is Wee Wizard, and we've had quite the journey thus far in this series. Dino Club took a very convincing Game 1 victory. In Game 2, Glacial Globals just played the map exceptionally well around York, and now we are here in Game 3. This series is on the line. Very excited to see what they got in store, and some level 1 shenanigans already here as Wonderbrat going to be able to walk away from that Dark Binding.
Just wide with the root.
Yeah, and it's
Fortunate Dark Binding not landing.
It's over. The level 1 is over. That's all we get.
That is unfortunate.
Just a little bit to the right, unfortunately.
No, they're coming back in. Dark Binding back up. Morgana looking for more.
Yeah, they are back up and available. We'll see how or what or if they do anything here, but we'll have to keep an eye on how they want to play this level 1. She is on a ward, so looks like everything's just going to fizzle out, but doing the bush cheese here in this bot side, I believe they might spot out. Oh, they spotted it out, so don't think anything's going to happen unless there's some auto attacks traded. Do keep in mind that Rim Almighty has the range advantage here already, as second Dark Binding of the game going to land onto Alyssa there, and that's a good chunk of damage already for the side of Dino Club. Yeah, and for the time being, very chill level 1s from both of these sides. One Dark Binding lands, but up on the top side there, waves are just getting pushed around. Of note, Delightful Juice started on that top side of the jungle leashless, as Wonderbrat, I believe, it got a little bit of help from Solstice. But overall, both of these junglers are going to be moving down towards this bot side early, as Rim and Coach Kirk get the early shove, as is expected, out of Caitlyn and Morgana.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see some blows being traded in the mid lane. Wait, does Morgana have Demolish?
Morgana took... Honestly, I've seen this a little bit more recently, where Morgana will take the Demolish with the Caitlyn just so that they can take towers as quickly as possible. But yes, that is Demolish, as they get a plate at 2:31, I believe it was, which is incredibly early on into the game. That's wave 2, you got a plate.
Yeah. Interesting, but I like it. I like it, for sure. And we shall be seeing a potential clash in the Scuttle spawning in 15 seconds, although I'm expecting Red Side to win just because of having the bot lane cryo of Caitlyn Morg. It's kind of impossible to lose with that bot lane pressure.
Yeah, lots of pressure coming through on that bot side from that lane, and I think it's almost a given that you have to give a lot of respect over to the side of the Caitlyn Morgana, because it is such a well-known comp. We don't see it as often anymore, but if you say Caitlyn, a lot of people will just... Like, you pick Caitlyn in solo queue, a lot of the times people will just be like, okay, Caitlyn Morgana, let's do it. And they've gotten 2 plates already. Actually, that plate didn't go down. I think it has like 5 HP.
Not quite.
Wonderbrat has shown up on this bot side. No real way for the Nocturne to get on top of this bot lane. And that's another caveat to this bot lane of Caitlyn Morgana. They are very safe. You have the Black Shield. You have the infinite crowd control combo, so to speak. You have a lot of range. So thus far, just really well played. The goal difference really just coming from those plates. Or the plate that they got.
No. Nocturne is wasting so much time in this bot side.
Yeah, and up on the top side, Bluff taking a pretty heavy trade onto Nova, but up comes Delightful Jew, looking for a little bit of that play. Nova Solstice might have extended this just a little bit too long. Kha'Zix has arrived, gonna land the first little bit of damage, and the Electrocute proc gonna make sure that Nova Solstice is looking at a little bit of a gray screen for some time. Gonna punch through some of those minions first, but Bluff and Delightful Jew tag team up for first blood.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is just... Doesn't get any better than this for Delightful Jew. Quirky dodging it in the mid lane, but you get bot scuttle, right? You see Nocturne sticking around bot, you go top, you get top scuttle, and then Scion just beautifully, perfectly timed overextension, and you just get the first blood. So not only do you get double scuttle, but you get first blood right on top, and it's just perfect. This is the lead that every Kha'Zix dreams of.
Yeah, Kha'Zix just off to the races already. Really nice to see that they've already got the Sorry, they've already got that that Ultimate Hunter, I believe. Did he take Ultimate Hunter? What did he take? Let's find out. Double checking. Getting the Ravenous Hunter stacked up. Yeah, that's what I expected. Why did I say Ultimate Hunter for Kha'Zix? Ravenous Hunter starting to stack up, so a little bit of healing and picking up a very early serrated Dirk compared to the Nocturne, who has not back yet.
Oh my gosh,
losing
serrated
some of that
Dirk and Longsword first back. Ouch.
And just very good opener. But looking at the rest of the map here, this Corki in the mid lane has already picked himself up a plate for his own, as well as a pretty hefty CS lead. Did use that teleport to get back to lane, but this Corki has started to put the pressure on this AP Varus. But up on the top side, Nova Solstice now in a little bit of trouble, but a great W coming through from Boif to dodge away. This might be a solo kill up on the top side, but looks like the tanks are just going to be able to back off as down on bot side, another plate going down, and almost a third plate of the lane for the side of Rim and Coach Kirk. They are definitely playing this Morgana Caitlyn lane to a T. Oh, and actually, Boif going to go in for the play. That's a lot of damage coming through from the sapling. Will Boif have enough damage? Will get that with the Nature's Grasp as well as his Q. Can't even remember what it's called because it's such a random ability, but Boif gets the solo kill on the Sion up on that top side. Sion has already burned that teleport, so lane's going to be in a very good state, but Wonderbrat now forced the flash over that wall, tried to steal that dragon away, but Delightful Jew and Dupless are already on that. And thus far, this is the opposite macro from last game, where Dino Club have already picked themselves up about a 2,500 gold lead. Meanwhile, down on that bot side, Soulless Alyssa is going to be going in aggressive, completely stuffed by the Black Shield from Coach Kirk, so nothing else to speak of. That's 3 plates in the bot lane already, as Rim is going to be going back with a hefty chunk of change there. 2,000 gold already, as Wonderbrat now trying to make some plays happen.
Yeah, and Nocturne in this bot lane may be able to get a kill here. Not level 6, though.
Yeah, Wonderbrat going to try and get the fear down, but once again, the Black Shield is there. Oh my goodness. The bouncing grenade will not come through as Coach Kirk and Rim forced to use some summoners, but they still are able to get out alive. They don't give over any extra gold, and that is V-Station, as Gray in that bot side and Soulless Alyssa just have not had an answer for this Caitlyn Morgana quite yet, as up on the top side, tanks going back and forth. Kha'Zix has shown up again. Delightful Jew dropping the thumbs up, as now Nova Solstice in a whole world of hurt going to be taking a big chunk of damage from this Kha'Zix, and they are going to donate that kill over to Delightful Jew, picking up a second kill of the game against the Scion.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, this Phage from the Scion means he's rushing Hullbreaker, if I'm not mistaken. And that means that him being behind is really bad. But package onto this Varus.
Dupless going to jump right in as Varus going to try and charge that up, but actually going to dodge away from the piercing arrow. Here comes the paranoia. It will be a 1-for-1, and really well played from Dupless. They, salvage something from that. But the Nocturne will be able to pick that one up with the paranoia, as Coach Kirk did move up. Going to get rooted up, actually, as Soulless Alyssa is around the corner, but Wonderbrat ends up making it a 1-for-1 for both those mid laners.
It's funny. I mean, at least Dupless got the kill, right? It could be worse. Trading 1-for-1 is not bad. I mean, you are Corki, right? You're going to outscale this Nocturne for sure, especially going shield bow, so nothing to seriously worry about. Look at this bot lane tower. It's so low. This bot lane just providing so much pressure.
Yeah, and thus far, it's just been a case of this bot lane has had so much pressure. They've been able to consistently push in this wave, and it's been difficult for Wonderbrat to make an appearance. You see his first gank is onto the mid lane, so no paranoia for another 45 seconds to a minute. And with Kha'Zix finishing up that Youmuu's already, this Kha'Zix is going to be able to reply to a lot of those ganks. So, Wizard, what does this mean for Glacial Global? Because at 9.5 minutes, they are already down 2,500 gold.
Yeah, and I think the real point of this is...
Oh, here comes the Solar Flare, though, as the Black Shield just a little bit late. Rim Almighty going to try and get out of here, but the curtains are going to get called here. 1, 2, and 3 going to land down onto Coach Kirk, as the last one deals a hefty chunk to Rim Almighty. Going to be forced to back off, forced to use that flash as well, but here comes the ace in the hole as Delightful Jew has showed up. Going to dodge away from that Deadly Flourish. There's a lot of damage coming down from Dupless as well. Going to pick up one, moving forward with the Valkyrie to pick up a second, and now Gray under this tower. Not going to be feeling too happy on this Jhin. no more cooldown, so no more kill potential. And up on the top side, Buff is moving around on this Maokai, but another couple kills going into the pockets of Dupless, and we're starting to see what happened in game 1 happen again, this time on a different champion.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be a big problem for Glacial. 3 kill Corki, 2 kill Kha'Zix, but San ulting mid lane. Can he make the difference in this fight? No, I don't think so.
No,
he's just gonna take the shameful walk back to top lane. Yep. Unfortunately for him. But you asked, what does this mean for Glacial? And we'll get back to just in a second after Corki dies.
Yeah, oh no, Corki's actually going to stay alive. Great Valkyrie coming through. The paranoia will not be enough as Corki stays alive. Well played from Dupless, and all of a sudden this game is blown back wide open for the side of Dino Club. Looked like game 2 was just a little bit of not knowing what to do against that York, but up on the top side, Buff is going very aggressive onto Nova Solstice once again. No ultimate to get out of here for the Scion, and the slows are just ruthless coming through from this Maokai. Will not have enough mana to extend that even further, but oh my goodness, Corki stays alive by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, that is incredible, adding another kill to the Corki. And his call is almost finished. He's got 3 minions left, and then he gets a nice, hefty chunk of change. Caitlyn maybe caught out here.
Yeah, Rim Almighty gonna actually be able to get away with the Gale Force, and Soulless Alyssa ends up taking the worst end of that trade. And my goodness, just back and forth this game goes, but every single time it seems like Dino Club are coming out ahead.
Yeah, and maybe finally we can get back to your question. What does this mean? This reminds me a lot about last game, right? We were talking about how last game we thought Dino had the better composition, and Glacial managed to stave it away with that York top pick. Now we're in a similar situation, but Glacial don't have York top, and instead they have Scion top. And even though the Scion is going for this Hullbreaker to fulfill a similar role as the York, it's just not going to be as effective, right? He's 0-3, he's down CS. Maokai is coming back with the Sunfire despite Hullbreaker being, one of the cheapest items in the game. And if he goes for an extend, he's just going to lose really, really hard. I mean, he's down a level, he's down Mythic, especially against Sunfire. But overall, I think that Glacial tried to draft the same comp, but without the highlight of the comp. And whoa, falling the flash.
Yeah, Wonder Brat gonna be taken down. Level 7 on this Nocturne compared to the level 10 from Delightful Jew is a very feels bad man at this stage. As the siege continues, you can see how much pressure this Caitlyn Morgana have been able to put down, not only just taking that bot lane, but now moving to that mid lane, and they've claimed themselves 11 turret plates on the side of Dino Club. A lot of those going into the Caitlyn's pocket. Now up on this top side, Nova Solstice in a little bit of trouble once again. Every single time we go up here, Bluff is just putting down the hurt onto this Scion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious if they're going to be... Scion stopped his recall! What?
Oh, Scion stopped the recall. Forced to use that ultimate to get out of there, but Delightful Jew blocks it up. Coach Kirk going in with the Soul Shackles, going to force the flash out of this Scion, and Wonder Brat just watching his Raptors to make sure they respawn, but more plates going over to the side of Dino Club. They won't be able to clean up the last 2 here as plates are going to fall off, but this is very well a turret in progress that they will take for themselves, and they're going to have themselves a 3 turret to nothing lead on top of 9 kills to 2, which is going to lead to them having about an 8,000 gold lead at 14.5 minutes, which is absolutely massive for the side of Dino Club.
Yeah, and really, that's just the difference the turret plates are making, as well as all of these kills. Wonder Brat trying to get something back by counter jungling, but Corki has already taken all the bot side camps, so no food for you, Wonder Brat. You're still 2 levels down your count.
Yeah, still very far behind, still waiting to sort of pop off in this game as, this Nocturne has both of the kills, but hasn't really done much with it. Now Soulless Alyssa going to get hit on the wrong side of the package, and Dupless going to go on a rampage. That's 5-1-0 on this Corki, as this game just keeps getting worse and worse. It looks like Dino Club have found the answer to that Varus mid, which just camped the crap out of him, as Now the big stack going to move forward on to V Station, going to get followed by the Maokai twisted advance, and Guap going to go over the wall, give another kill over to Dupless, and this Rift Herald is charging at a tier 3 turret at 15 minutes. This is not looking good for the side of Glacial, as Dino Club coming out all guns ablaze, and they're going to pick up an inhibitor at the 15.5 minute. They're looking to end the game potentially. They've got the 5-man stack. Shelly will go down, but Nova Solstice is going to be taken down by Rim Almighty once again. The long-range arrow going to take down this Kha'Zix and get a kill back, but 10,000 or 9,000 gold lead, at 15.5 minutes is very good for Dino Club.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to say I'm not a huge fan of the inhibitor take, just because it's 16 minutes into the game. And I think Freak actually did such an interesting video on when it's actually worth taking an inhibitor. And basically the rundown is, if you can take Baron, the gold equivalent is worthwhile for you. Because taking Baron gives you more golden XP than the golden XP that's given for free. But Caitlyn maybe caught out here. Oh, the trap plus flash? Wow, that is just this. Oh, Forest. Okay.
Yeah, Varus actually going to be able to get the kill onto the Caitlyn, which is good. They get some gold back. Is it enough? Still remains to be seen.
Maybe no. Probably not.
Still remains to be seen, but we'll keep an eye on it.
With Soul Point coming up in 30 seconds, let's see, what's the cooldown on Corki package? 2 minutes. So he's not going to have package for this dragon fight. But I think they're ahead enough that it shouldn't matter. I mean, Corki should have completed Manamune when he backs.
Yeah.
Although it's not going to be finished just yet, but
we're going to go under the assumption that they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves right now, considering they have full prio in this bot side jungle. You can see Wonderbrat just going in blind everywhere and having a rough time just having to burn that spell shield to go through and clear out a Maokai sapling.
Yeah.
All of this vision control is really devastating, and it's going to mean that they get themselves onto Soul Point for free. Gold lead is only about 8,000 after a couple of those deaths, but at the end of the day, if you're the side of Dino Club, you are feeling very good about yourself. But a curtain call going to come down onto Dupless, just going to try and jump over that wall, but has the Black Shield to block all of that slow potential. Now Solus Alyssa in a lot of trouble, taking a big chunk of damage. Dupless is moving forward aggressively, looking to get all of those rockets down, get all those Sheen procs as well. Solus Alyssa down to about 200 HP, as now Nova Solstice is going to be the one to get blocked up. Great twisted advance, and Nature's Grass going to come down as Rim able to pick up the kill onto the Leona, pick up as well a kill onto Nova Solstice, and they're continuing to look at this pace. This super minion is going to be incredibly hard to take down, and they are walking as a unit of 5 trying to take down this turret. You have the demolish available, but Delightful Jew going to be the first one to fall here, as Lost and Echoes able to go on a killing spree. Wonderbrat though taking a big chunk of damage, as the turrets in the Nexus or in the base do a lot of damage still, and it doesn't look like Dino Club have quite enough tankiness to be able to just tank him for free. But the poke is coming down, and here comes the damage from Dupless. Oh my goodness! Look at that chunk coming through onto the Jhin. That's a 2.5 item Corki for you, as one Nexus tower will fall. They're going to continue this push as Wap going under this tower trying to lock up Wonderbrat, but it looks like he might have gone a little bit too far. Alyssa once again taken down very low, but Wap is so tanky that he's just able to walk out of there without a worry. Still going back in, looking for those aggressive trades, and Wonderbrat will be able to live as another kill going into this Varus' pocket. Rim Almighty now going to get shut down with those piercing arrows, and the Dino Club might have bitten off a little bit more than they could chew. They get a Nexus tower, but they do give up some pretty big shutdowns.
Yeah, baited a little bit by that open inhibitor. Giving away a couple shutdowns, but Corki's is still up. So he's the big mama of the shutdowns at the moment. 700 gold. And they should really just be looking to reset, do this Baron when it spawns, 40 seconds. And at that point, then you can start taking the outer turrets, get those gold, play for Soul, coming up in 3 minutes, 40, 50, 3 minutes, just 3 minutes. There's no need to force fights mid like you just saw, because you're going to get poked out, right? The enemy team has the healing from Fountain. They have the mana restoration from Fountain. You don't. And yeah, you technically should win with the gold lead, but over time, you're just going to get whittled down, and is one turret really worth giving away 2 shutdowns and a kill?
Yeah, that's the main question. We've got to keep our eye on how this is going to evolve, because taking an inhibitor early, while it's great for opening up the map and picking up those objectives, you have to confirm those objective takes regardless. What this does is it gives them a little bit of priority over this Baron, it gives them priority over Dragon, and they're just looking to take down some more outer turrets to get that gold lead back up to where they want it to be.
Yep, and they're just, pushing down mid. Bot lane. Should be a pretty free turret take, especially with the demolish from Morgana.
Yeah, the demolish from Morgana is kind of big brain. I really like it. As actually Alyssa gets hit by the 100% range Dark Binding, Siege continues, and this is really difficult. You can see some good wave clear now coming through for Lost in Echoes, and his arrows are doing some chunks. They're not doing no damage this game. They are actually really painful if you are the Corki, if you are the Caitlyn here, but the Siege continues, and they're just able to continuously push in these waves, get a couple of auto attacks, and back right off.
Absolutely, and I mean, they're pretty much just stalling for Infernal Soul at this point, and once they get that soul, it's just, I think it's just game, honestly. So I really think Glacial's only chance are stopping the soul take, right? They have to do something. I don't know what they can do, to be honest with you, but they need to do something. And they need to do it fast in the next 50 seconds, or this game is just going to be over. Because Fed Corki with Infernal Soul, it's just... This may be it, right here?
Yeah, but the curtain call going to come down. It hits onto Maokai, who I don't think is a priority target, but they're going to go all aggressive here onto Rim Almighty. Wonderbrat in that back line uses the Stride Breaker, but I don't think it's going to be enough, but a really good Nature's Grasp going to come through, lock down the Nocturne. Soulless Alyssa goes into the back, but so much damage coming through from Dupless, and this might be the game. Ace in the Hole going to come down as it is. V-Station taken down to about 500 HP as now Nova Solstice is the next focus. This Maokai is so tanky, just tanks on the turret forever. They have enough damage to lock him down. That's 3 kills unanswered for the side of Dino Club, and they're going to continue the siege on the bot side as Dragon is now spawning in 2 seconds, and they don't have a Nocturne for another 10.
Yeah, absolutely. This should just be Soul, as well as double inhib for the side. And it's just... It's such... I don't know if there's any redemption at this point. Once Dino takes the Infernal Soul, I just don't think it's winnable. 9-1 Corki is gonna get his Lich Bane, and they probably just go for Baron at this point. I mean, Kha'Zix's finishing his mythic second item.
It's pretty devastating.
It's a
a
10k gold lead. Very, very few games can come back from 10k gold, but it can happen, right?
And we gotta keep in mind, though, that there is also an Infernal Soul, which is the permanent buff in favor of the side of Dino Club. So looks like with that Infernal Soul, they will look towards either getting a pick here onto Wonderbrat or just going for this Baron. You can see that Wonderbrat is still 2 levels behind this Kha'Zix. So scary. Gonna block that slow, but Nova Solstice now the one in trouble, gonna get blocked up once again by the Maokai as Rim Almighty actually now in trouble, gonna get taken down to start off this fight. Not looking so good for the side of Dino Club as Delightful Jew now forced to run for the hills, but that's 2 kills going over to the side of Glacial Globals. But here comes Dupless with the package special delivery, and it's a kill onto Jin. Now Wonderbrat in trouble as Soulless Alyssa taking so much damage from the package, almost taken down as Wonderbrat now gonna be running for the hills, but that's another kill going into the Corki's pocket. 11, 1, and 4. Lost in Echoes getting locked up, and a lot of damage coming down into Nova Solstice. Dupless just firing those rockets from across the wall. Doesn't even need to jump over, and that's another 2 kills after a really bad start to that fight. The side of Dino Club are still able to clean it up.
Look at the base.
In short order.
There's a lot of super minions.
Yeah, the super minions in the base are just providing them with so much damn pressure right now. There's 2 inhibitors down. They're looking to get more turrets, and those Nexus towers, oh my goodness, that Nexus tower has about 200 HP. Honestly, Corki could walk up and auto it and it'd be gone, but for the time being, Dupless just going to continue locking on this 3rd inhibitor. Gray going to get locked up under this tower in B station. Going to be wishing he was on that other account, because right now Gray is killless in this series as Dupless now just 12-1-4. This is exactly what we saw in game 1 out of him on the Kassadin. This time on the Corki, a little bit of a safer pick, and definitely showing his worth on this champion.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be triple inhib down. And now Dino pretty much just have free reign of the map. They can go for the end. They can go for Baron. With the Nexus turret almost dead, they may just decide to go for the end. Pushing in these waves with the double super minions on the way. Should just be victory.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to go for that end. The Nature's Grass coming across as Wonderbrat going to try and turn off the lights to mess them up just a little bit, but it is completely defensive and useless. Sion going to pick up one on to the Kha'Zix as a great chain of corruption going to land into all of the members, but there's just too much damage coming through from Rim.
Jin!
Curtains, you faced them the wrong way as Rim just continuously putting out the damage. Well, that's going to be the series for Dino Club. They clean this one up in 3 games, and they will stay undefeated on the season.
What a great final game for Dino. Oof, that's what happens when Bob gets his Maokai, huh?
Yes, that is
pretty
exactly
impressive stuff. And across the board, yeah, Dupless. Oh my gosh. I mean, to be honest, Delightful Jew did not snowball nearly as hard as I thought he would. But Dupless able to pick up the slack, 13-1. Look at these damage charts. Zooey mama. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, so just a lot of damage coming through from that Corki. But honestly, great series. We got to see some really strong play out of both of these teams across the series, and I think that we had ourselves quite the matchup. Any final thoughts before we head to a break before Series 2, Mr. Wee Wizard?
Yeah, just well played from both teams. I'm glad we got to see 3 games. These teams were very well matched. And it was great to see everybody come out. Unfortunately, Dino, or fortunately, if you are Dino remain the top seed, undefeated. Well played.
Yeah, well played from Dino, and good game as well from Glacial Global. This roster that they fielded today might be the one for their future. But as for myself, we're going to head to a quick break. But Wee Wizard, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to be right back with our second series of the night in about 20 minutes. So don't go anywhere. We're going to have... Let me just double check what the second series of the night is, because I can't remember it off the top of my head. Oh, no. We're going to have, there we go, Glacial Mingoes versus Maria's Dungeon coming up in about 20 minutes. So if you need, take a quick break and come back in about 20 minutes, and we'll be back onto the Rift. Have a good one, Wee Wizard, and we will see you guys later.